It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me is always my buddy, my coach, my pal, the man with the plan, the one and only John Meleka. But before we ask John how he's doing today, guys, we need your help. You know what it is. If you listen to this podcast, we're available on all audio platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. So make sure to subscribe. And if you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave a comment. That helps oh so greatly. Guys, we're also partnered with Fansided. So if you go check out the Daily Knicks, if you go check out the Jet Press, you can go find our podcast over there too. If you would just want to listen to it on the web, don't worry about it. Also, we're on the YouTube channel now. Knicks, Jets, ETC, period. Go look for the page. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And when you watch a video, just hit the like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you are thinking. Engage with us. Add to the conversation. We love to talk to you, all right? Especially John. John loves to talk to the people. That is John's favorite thing to do. He wants to know your takes. So do I. But John really wants to know your takes. He really wants to engage. Don't worry. And while you're over there, we got Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg. They usually go down the NFL slate. They're doing some NBA betting. You got baseball season. These guys just love to bet. All right. They did some college basketball, March Madness. Don't worry. Head over there. These guys will give you their takes. Go through whatever matchups start today. Give you some futures. All right. Take overs, unders, money lines, spreads, you name it. They got it all, bro. They just got it all.
We got master stuff coming up. We got MLB futures coming up before the season start. And we have the NBA futures. You can get in there before the playoffs finally commence next week. We got Chip Murphy coming on again, who was just with us through March Madness. So it should be fun, man. Definitely check out Winning Picks Weekly, YouTube.
For sure.
Apple, Spotify.
Yeah, they're on all audio platforms as well. They're also sponsored through Fansided. All right. So make sure to go check those guys out. And then last and certainly not least, we're on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. We are there.
By the way, sponsored by Minute Media, not Fansided. Go ahead.
Well, you're right. Minute Media, Fansided, it's all together. They're all together.
Just to be clear.
Look, when you go look at that label underneath the podcast, it says partnered with Fansided. It is Minute Media. Just to
be clear.
Yeah, we could just be clear. It's okay. It's all good. All good. Appreciate it, John. But my man, you're back. You're out of health and safety protocols. You're out from whatever illness you had. I don't even know what it was, but you said you were sick. We need to put you on the bench, not the IR, because you were going to return. You're going to return quick, soon, fast.
Short-term IR. Short-term IR, bro. I was just day-to-day. I completely blamed the Knicks. The Knicks killed me. I was at the game on Wednesday night. I literally came home feeling just sick. Like I just got sick. The weather's changing. You can probably hear it a little bit in my voice, but you held it down here. Thankfully, maybe it was just the Knicks, man. Maybe it was just the Knicks ending their season versus the Hornets. That really was, the end of life for me. I was holding on, fighting off this mini sickness for a while. But, dude, it's a new life, dude. I'm back. The Knicks, the season's over. Now we're finally ahead to.
You got your Yankee
season.
Gear on?
It's literally opening week, but we'll see what happens because Thursday looks like it's going to rain. Like the Jets draft. Like we are ready to turn the new page, man. I am ready for New York City spring, the real spring. I'm ready for baseball. I'm ready for the draft. I'm ready for the Knicks actual season to be over now that we're completely eliminated from the playoffs. I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. I'm going to a Rangers game in a couple weeks. Like I'm ready for the new season here, man. I'm ready to turn this page up. March Madness ending tonight as we're recording. Masters coming up. Like this is a good time of the year.
This is between October
revival.
Between October and March, April. those are like the 2 months for sports. Those are like the 2 months where you get everything. So, you got
2021 is
UNC.
officially behind us. Is it going to be officially once basketball season ends? 2021 is officially behind us. The Knicks season they ended it for us. They ended me on Wednesday versus the Hornets. We just cannot beat the damn Hornets.
Well, speaking about it being over, well, let's get into this, right? We got one Mr. Julius Randle who seems to be done for the season, right? He's been shut down. He's been there's been a report that he has thigh, leg injury, hammy,
He's
whatever
done,
it
man.
is.
He's done. It's over.
So, look, the only thing out of that I could say is we get to see Obi Toppin play more minutes, right?
He's been having career highs.
He's been having career highs.
Hashtag free Obi.
Well. Hashtag free Obi. Hashtag Obi Avengers. Shout out Blood of DePonta. All right. But man's holding it down out there. He's been part of that Obi high for a hot minute, and he's been chugging along, waving that banner. Man's been on the corner by himself, but hey, man, he's been patient, just like you. Because you at the beginning of this season, we had what was the awards? We had our beginning of the season awards, right? And you chose Obi Toppin, I chose Immanuel Quickley.
Both coming together here at the end, man. Finally.
Thank God. We're getting to see some life. We're going to talk about it quickly later towards the end of the pod, but let's get into Julius Randle because he's done. You heard my spiel. You said you listened to it. You heard my whole spiel on Julius Randle and how I think he's out of here. I'm personally just trade the man. 2 out of 3 seasons he's been here. It's not been pretty. Okay. He gave us 1 magical season. I'm fine. I know there's talks of, well, what if he could turn it around again? What if he can, learn
Where
from
are
this?
those talks? I haven't heard anyone say that.
Clyde thinks he can come back. He's
okay.
and I'm like, why are we doing this to ourselves? And like people are out here saying we just kick stars out of here. I'm also confused when we've kicked out stars. Like people are saying like we kicked out Melo. We never kicked out Melo. It was time for Melo to go. Okay. We didn't help Melo. That was it. Before Melo, who else did we kick out of here? Who? Marbury? Did we really kick out Marbury?
Steph, like with the Francis and Marbury duo, Tino Mobley.
Yeah, did we really kick him out of here? Did we really kick those guys? And between that, who did we kick out of here? You want to talk about Amari, who was just injured? Come on. Like
he coaches the Nets now. We don't acknowledge him.
Exactly. but regardless, man, like I'm just tired of this, bro. I'm just tired
You're done with Randle. I think Randle's done with the Knicks too.
And look, if what did it in for him
was blocking you on Twitter.
Yeah, right. That was when he first got here. I apologized and did all that crap, and now we're back here at square one all again. Look, I just want to say, like, I know he's a good player. I know it's in there. This season went completely haywire for him. I feel bad. The whole thing that did it was a thumbs down. Once you engage with the fans, you already crossed the line. And it's not because the fans get necessarily offended by your gestures and whatnot, but it just means that you're listening to us. We know you're listening to us. You could even go back to listen to Knicks Fan TV. CP already mentioned it. Randall's got burner accounts checking in on Knicks Twitter. Like, that's what he does.
Everybody's checking on Knicks Twitter. Do you see how Mitch Robinson approached
Not
CP?
Not RJ.
I'm sure he reads and what's going on, man. Come on. You see how Mitch approaches CP? Like he knows him. You know what I'm saying? Like they recognize.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Like,
no. CP and Mitch know each other. I mean, Mitch gave CP the rights to go make the image for the new Blockness image for KFTV. Like we know that, but I look at Randle, and I look at how he's interacted with the fans, the on-court shenanigans. You don't even see his teammates hugging him and doing all that stuff. Remember last season where we have that picture of Immanuel Quickley hugging Julius Randle? Everyone was just gathering around Julius Randle, like championing this man, from the fans to his teammates. I don't see that this season. I just don't. And we're at this point where I don't even see him, like, I think he's just doing the nominal, like, fist bump, just like all that type of stuff, just to have the appearance. but I don't think it's actually necessarily heartfelt. Like, I don't think he's intentionally like wanting to do it out of a good place. I'm not saying he's trying to be malicious, but I'm not saying like consciously it's like, yeah, I really support you. I'm happy for you. Like, let's go, guys. We got this. And that's like the lack of leadership, the lack of trust. I don't know how you want to, not you personally, I don't know how anyone would want to have this guy back after how this entire season unfolded and not even seeing his teammates really rally around him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even see his teammates rallying around him. We saw the whole Rudy Gobert thing. Everyone's just like, I ain't doing this shit, man. Like, everyone's walking away. You have RJ, Fournier, Mitch, everybody. Everyone's just, you do you, bro. Go ahead and you do you. I don't think only Randle's checked out. I think his teammates are checked out. But I want to hear what your thoughts are, man, on the Julius Randle situation, since you weren't here with me to get into it last Friday.
Yeah, and I guess especially on this podcast, I have been the Randle apologist, quote unquote, right? And I don't think it's just a feeling that he's detached. I think that that's actually in the record, where today there are reports from Berman that have really confirmed what we've heard all year, that when they're on the road, he doesn't come out for warm-ups, he doesn't come out for the introduction, he stays inside, which leads me to believe that this is my own assuming that they're no longer doing those play-ins as soon as they land in an away city like they were doing in his big year. I'm just assuming that's coming with that. Also, he doesn't, even on the home court, he's always he doesn't even come up for when they announce his name. He just sort of like,
bro, we were there. We were there for the Knicks Fan TV Omni Fan event. Remember, we were sitting courtside for pregame warmups. We didn't see him out there.
Oh no, yeah, but I mean, star players don't always come out for the pregame. I'm saying when they call his name, he comes out late. Like, he doesn't really hang out with the team. Like, you see Alec Burks and Obi, like, they're always under the basket before every game. They talk to security. They're like doing their pregame whatever ritual. You see IQ hanging out. You see RJ. Like you see these guys, right? But Randle's always missing, and he's the star. Like, you don't see Atlanta doing anything without Trae Young. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they don't do anything without him. And the Pacers, when they had Sabonis, right? I know he's always compared to Sabonis. The Pacers weren't doing anything unless Sabonis was involved, on the court or off the court, and he was the face of the franchise. And that's really where the problem is once he got paid, once he got the magical season, for whatever reason, we are here now, and that is in a place where it just didn't work out. So why didn't work out, we can discuss, until our hair falls out, right? And, I have no more hair because probably attribute to my sports teams, right? And is it because of the star player or is it because of the coach? That is like the Knicks question of the century. Happens every single year. We ask the same exact question. Is it because of the player or is it because of the coach? And you're talking about continuity. You're talking about who's X's and O's fault it was. We can have that discussion. But when you just look at attitude, dude, and I think you hit it where you said that RJ kind of took over this team a little bit, and you could almost pinpoint when that happened. When you go back into the season and when you see RJ now getting over that 25-point mark every single day to finally, average out his points per game to 20. You know what I mean? You could see when that started happening. The offense started running through him more, and Randle started taking a back seat. That's when those unders started hitting, right? If you listen to Winning Picks Weekly, if you're paying attention to the daily props, like all the Randle points were ridiculous. Like 24 and a half, he's getting 5. You know what I mean? Like it was becoming a daily occurrence, and we didn't realize what was happening. You were about to get into it, right? The thumbs down and all that stuff. We started blaming on the external factors, his quad injury, right? We started hearing murmurs about that before he started sitting out, right? He's nursing something. But dude, I think this is a lot about attitude. And when you're checked out, like, think about it. When you're checked out of your job, when you're checked out of your relationship, when you're checked out of this specific class that you're in, like, you just disengage. And he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted of the situation. And honestly, I could see why he's pissed. I could totally see why he's pissed, man. Like he had a ridiculous year last year. They paid him. Now there's no guards, and we started booing him, 20 games in and now the same people, like, we booed him at first. Then he got his contract, and we all said, sorry. Oh, yeah, you're the best, whatever. And remember, like, he was never embracing that. He took the Slam, magazine pictures, and he was doing all the endorsements, but like, notice every single post game, he was out. Like, he's like, oh, I just want to go home. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm just exhausted. Like, that was always his answer. He was just like, dude, like, yeah, I'm good. This is my year. I'm going to get paid. And now that we got that 20 games in, we're already booing him back. Trade him. He sucks. Let's get rid of him. So he's like, dude, I hate this place. Like, he's not having fun at work. You know what I'm trying to say? And now I don't think I'm reporting anything, but Obi has been pissed off about his playing time all year. And if you just show up to
Immanuel
a game,
Quickley, according to Berman.
see, like, that was a story that came out from Berman, and that was like a report, because I didn't see that with my eyes, right? So Quickley was like professional about that. He didn't make that known, but the news is Quickley was pissed off about his playing time all year long because of Alec Burks, which Knicks Nation has definitely beaten that into the ground. Shout out CP, runs the Burks hive. But on the other side, we have Obi Toppin, who, I'm telling you, Alex, I've been reporting to you since literally like game one this year.
Since game one, yeah, no, you've been saying
literally every time he gets benched for Randle, he gets visibly pissed off. And like, just like when you're on a basketball team, you see somebody get pulled out and he's pissed off. It's been building, especially when Randle's now being checked out and you keep wanting to play, but you still getting subbed out for him no matter how well you play. So it's not really a merit-based thing at that point. Right. It's more of a seniority-based, perspective. At the last game, at the Charlotte game, like, I know we're losing by 10. Randle gets his fifth foul. Obi Toppin literally is saying to Randle, putting both hands together, saying, please, don't get your foul. I'm not coming back in. I don't want to come in. Don't get another foul. You know what I mean? Because he's pissed off. He's so pissed off that he didn't play. And now, they put Randle in. Randle doesn't want to play to begin with. Now they're losing. Like, it's just a bad team. You know what I mean? It's just a bad chemistry team. And it starts with your highest paid guy. Whether you like it or not, that's just the way it is, man. It just starts with your highest paid player. And I don't think that's a NBA thing. I think that's any sport in any country. If the highest paid player sets the tone. And that's why, we could jump it right into the RJ extension, like why RJ has to get the extension. He's going to be the highest paid player, and why we need to trade Randle. Like, that's how you move on from this team. Like, that's what we learned. Like, everyone's freaking out. What did we learn with the kids? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? This is what we learned. We learned that RJ is a real basketball player. He could be the star of this team. We could build around him. We see what he needs around him. He's not just this corner three, breaking records type of guy. He's a completely different player than that. If he's just a little bit more efficient at the rim, things will change. So we have that. And then we have the Randle stuff. Like, is that not only can we get a real player from that, real assets from that, but is it in addition by subtraction?
Oh, I've been banging that drum. I sit down Knicks Fan TV. We had a caller that came in and, what do I want to see the offseason moves change? And I brought up saying, look, first thing, one of the big things we got to talk about is Randle still going to be here? Do you actually believe you can change this mentality to get him back on track? And that's why, even on the last part, I said, there's no way you're getting rid of both these guys. You're not going to get rid of Randle and Tibbs. If you do that, that is a hard reset. We're already a rebuilding team. You don't need to do a hard reset. Like, it just screams, we're going youth. Like, we already know that you can go youth and still have a winning coach that has established something. All right. And work off of that. Even though I'm not Tibbs' biggest fan, I can at least tolerate that and then get Johnny Bryant set up for success the year afterwards. And that's really my thing. It's like, I'm ready for Johnny Bryant, but I wanted to have success, not just put him in here, have him fail, and then we're done with that. That's my biggest thing. But regardless,
you gotta give him a team.
Yeah, like you need a team, like you need some
What is
sort of
Johnny
foundation
Bryant
there.
gonna do with this team? What is Phil Jackson of the Bulls
And that's the thing.
coaching gonna do with
And that's
this
the thing.
team?
Because if you get rid of Tibbs, then the owners could be like, you're not getting rid of my best player now just because you got rid of the coach. Because now you got to say, now you're going to say
that he was
oh,
the
cool.
problem. You can't say everyone unless they're fighting. Unless you're going to come out with a news story that tells me like they were fighting, it was toxic. You just have to break up the whole thing.
That's the only way you can do it. You need everything. You have to have people hate Tibbs. You have to have everyone hate Randle. That's the only way you're going to do that. And I don't think you're going to get all that.
But like if they're both fighting, then you don't choose a side. Yeah. Like you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, it's gotta be really, really messy to get that type of reset. But even when I look at it, right, if you got rid of Tibbs and then you're going to have to keep Randle because you're going to say to Johnny Bryant, all right, man, I'm giving you the chance now to rehabilitate Randle. You're a new coach. Why would I want to get rid of a guy where you're telling me that he couldn't hold him accountable? I'm going to give you the chance now to see if you can hold him accountable because I'm not going to let a guy with an extension just walk away. Like that, it just doesn't make sense. But that's what I'm saying. He's not going to necessarily walk away, but you know what I mean? Just like you just trade him and just give him up for whatever.
But I don't think it's going to be.
I'm not talking about value. I'm not talking about value. What I'm saying is that you're just not going to trade him if he's still a valuable asset for this team, right?
Yeah.
Like he's still a good player. If you bring in a new head coach, you're not going to say, okay, we're going to trade a really good player who was just most improved, second All-NBA, NBA All-Star, all right, had career highs, shot 40% from three, 45% from the field, was a mid-range like maestro, I should say. Like you're not going to give up that if you have a new coach. You're going to say, I'm going to give you the chance to see if you can work with him. That's all I'm saying. Because at that point, what team would even do that? That just doesn't make any sense, right? Look, we see it with the Pacers, right? They got rid of who is that guy from Toronto? The Toronto assistant head coach, but they didn't get rid of everybody yet. They said, no, we're going to keep everybody back. We got Rick Carlisle in, and we're going to let him go with it. Same thing with like that's just how it goes. That is literally
he ruined Indiana, man. I thought Indiana had so much potential. I don't know. The Rick Carlisle system didn't work with them. And I don't know, but that's all there. I'm glad that these things.
Hold on. And now look at that. And then look, you got Steve Silas, I think it was for the Atlanta Hawks last season. Then he gets fired, Nate McMillan, and they bring everybody back for Nate McMillan. You're not going to do it massive overhaul.
Yeah, and they suck too. And honestly, there is a little bit.
How much of a change was there? Hold on. How much of a change was there when they brought in Luke Walton? They didn't. They brought everybody back. If you're bringing a new head coach, you're bringing everybody back. That's just my point. So that's why it's going to be an either or. The entire situation has to be so bad that you have to. That then it gives you a reason to blow everything up.
Yeah,
I don't know. Listen, when we had Isaiah Thomas and everything that just blew up from that, the lawsuit and everything. Then you can say, hold on, we got to blow up everything. We're not there. So that's why I'm like, you're going to get either or. And I'd rather move Randle and see the young kids. And then if Tibbs doesn't work with the young kids, then you bring in Johnny Bryant. That's just my point.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, man, there's nothing about Tibbs that makes me excited to rebuild and start over and do a draft pick, right? If you have to, there's a linear equation here. You can't say Tibbs doesn't do this, Tibbs doesn't do that. Let's start over and draft young guys. It just doesn't make it doesn't make sense. So if now you want to restart the whole thing with Johnny Bryant with a bunch of rookies and young guys and just flip Randle, okay, whatever. I could see it, but I agree with you. It has to be more of an egregious implosion. And honestly, that's next year. Like we don't have to look ahead that much. Like before the I'll say almost up to Christmas next year, the season up to Christmas, and then sneaking into the All-Star break. Like
we're not first 20 games, bro. First 20 games.
I was gonna say 20 games, but I feel like it might be early. But because if we change up the roster, they're gonna say it takes longer than 20 games to get acclimated. So that's why you give people to Christmas, sneaking into the All-Star break. You know what I'm trying to say?
I feel you. And here's the thing, because I look at what happened in Minnesota, and granted, Tibbs is not the GM of this team, but it was up until 40 games in, they were hovering around 500. I think it was like 2020, 19, 20 or something like that he got fired. Like, it's going to be within 20 to 40 games if this shit goes south, man. Like,
We'll
if this
see,
shit
dude.
goes south.
I don't know.
And the thing is,
if we change the team, I think it's going to be Tiz for a whole another year, even if we suck. Like, if we have the same exact record we have this year, next year, but like trade out Randle, like figure out Mitch, like have a whole new team with Tibbs, I 100% agree he's gone. Like 100%, no matter how the season goes, no matter how it looks, to our eyes, no matter how the box score changes. If we're sitting where we are next year, he has the whole year, it's over. I don't see him, like, think about the pressure for someone like Johnny Bryant, right? Because I know we're on this topic right now. A brand new, he's never coached an NBA team. He's going to come in a tumultuous, New York media in a Knicks team that just fired head coach Tom Thibodeau because they suck and they can't get it together. And now he's going to come in mid-season as an intern.
That's the storyline.
I know, but that's not where you want to. That's not where you want to put him.
Hell,
you know what I'm trying
no.
to say?
And
you want to give him an off season. At least like give him that leeway, give him an off season, give him that time, because the clock starts ticking as an interim coach. Like, if you suck as an interim coach, like already, like the media's down on you, the players are down on you, everything's already astray, and you haven't even started your first off season yet. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's almost like the Joe Douglas thing. I know it's GM and it's football, but it's just hard to come in the middle, in my opinion, and get credibility. You just don't get, if the team does well, they just say, oh yeah, whatever, they get a spark. You know what I mean? If they do bad, they
and
blame
that's like the nominal thing. Like, after every head coach gets fired, there's always that nominal spark that, oh my God, are they going to get together? It's not everything ends like Nate McMillan, where you're like, oh wow, look at that. This guy turned it all around.
So that's exactly the point. And I guess the last point on this is it's all about perspective. What makes me okay with this whole season, even though I am very unhappy, very pissed off, we're going to make radical changes, right? The only thing that makes me decently okay with how the offseason went, why I'm not freaking out at our front office, is because look at the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? We were with them last year. They're the team that beat us. They were the team to beat. And look at them now. Like, it didn't work out for them. They had the same exact strategy as us. The Hornets, right? They draft Bridges over Knox, mistake on us. They get LaMelo because we won a couple more games, right? And everyone's pissed off about that. So they're not really this amazing team. We got the Brooklyn Nets, who sold out, and they have the highest salary cap, and they're likely going to be at a first round knockout again. If they make it to the double play in and then see the Bucks or something, like. There's an organic way to do it, like the Suns and the Bucks, if you want to be a real team. And there's like fugazi ways to go about it. If you want to be like the Brooklyn Nets and try to buy players, and even like the.
Hey, I spoke about that, man.
I wrote like the Celtics. The Celtics are organic too, exactly, and the Celtics are organic
absolutely.
Too. So there's a way to build it, and I'm gonna jump to the next topic real quick, and that is Julius Randle's value. I don't think it's as low as Nick's Twitter think it is. I don't think it's as low as he looks at it on his face. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I agree.
He's a real asset, dude. He's so cheap. You see what he could do last year, and if you put him with a real point guard, or if you give him to a team that's with a center like Gobert, right, or like a real center anywhere in the league, like even like Denver, anywhere. He's going to be a real asset, man. I know they have Aaron Gordon. Like, he can be the Aaron Gordon to joke. He's better than Aaron Gordon. And if you line him up with a good, solid center that doesn't really need the ball, he's going to be a solid player. And Randall, Fournier, like, teams like these players and their contracts way more than Nick's Twitter and, Nick's Reddit makes you think. I just kind of want to make that point very clear.
No, it's a fact. And like, Randall does, like, look, he's still a 20, 10, and 5 guy. Like, the numbers look gaudy because it's not necessarily the most efficient way he's getting to it. But when you watch him play, you can see that there's a skill set there. You can talk yourself into, all right, well, the Knicks made him the number one option. Also, the team wasn't really built for him to succeed. We know he's not, like, everyone knows he's not going to shoot what he did last season. Everybody knows that. But the thing is,
Alex, you made the
but
point,
the thing is,
bro. He didn't do it. He just didn't do it. Forget the ball going in the basket. Like, you have been pointing this out all year. He's just not doing the same plays he was doing that last year. That's what's annoying, bro.
100%. No, 100%. But the other thing too is, one, he's not doing the same plays, but two, I'm just saying, like, how you could talk yourself into this guy, right? It's like the numbers are there. It's not necessarily efficient. Sure, he's not playing the game that he played all last season, but you don't even need him to shoot this the way he did last season. If this dude is hitting 45% of his field goal, that's what he needs to do. If he does that by being a roll man and just like attacking downhill, which he was not doing this season whatsoever. He was in double digits last season. We're talking 10 to 11 drives per game last season. He's doing 8 because he wants to be a jump shooter. This man thinks he's mellow. He's not mellow. And I wish he would stop trying to be like Melo, because he, as himself, being a pick and roll guy, just going downhill, that's his game. And it's in there. And if you put him with the right team, that's not considered his team. And that's why he's got to get off the Knicks, because I think he's still going to think that this is his team. If I'm still here, like if I'm a player, I'm like, I know what I did here, I'm going to have that ego be like, look, I'm still here. Like, I know what I did. That's why you got to move on from the guy. Like, go let him be the second, third option on a team that is not his. If the Trailblazers were still constructed the way they were, with CJ, Dame, and Nurk, him being on that team would have made so much sense. So much sense. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't get why. I should say, I get why, like, there's all the hate out there and people think his value is a lot lower than it is. But I think a GM out there will see Randle for his actual value, and they will bring him back, or they could trade for him. And I don't think his value is as low where you're gonna have to give up so much to attach with Randle to get him traded. Like in that Fred Katz article, he talks about trading a first rounder, right, to have to trade with Randle. I could see that, but two, I think the thing that's missing out of that entire sentence, because everyone's like, I'm not trading a first round pick. What are the protections on that pick? That's my question, right? It's like when we traded.
Look at the
KP,
Lakers, bro. Look at the Lakers. They didn't put protections, and it's biting them in the butt, bro.
I'm happy about it.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I'm happy about it. Yeah, well, there's a certain somebody on that team where if LeBron doesn't make the play-in, bro, if LeBron doesn't make the play-in with a certain point guard on that team, I don't want to.
I know we were right, bro.
Then we would. He would
have to glow. We knew we were right the whole time.
Granted, AD didn't.
Dude, the record with LeBron and AD on the court is under 500.
But I'm just saying, like, them two together, there's a certain somebody that likes to bring down efficiency by a drastic amount, because he can't shoot. He's essentially a mini LeBron James, which is not effective if you can't shoot.
Listen, man. I'm
still salty. I'm still salty that someone said I was out of my mind to think that Chauncey Billups is ranked higher than Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook has great gaudy triple doubles.
People are silly, man. People are silly, and let's jump off to the Lakers offseason and why they're in the spot that they are. Right? Magic Johnson came out and he said that he was on board and he was ready to get DeRozan back to LA. And they could re-sign their role players like Caruso and Caldwell Pope. So that's
and try to get Buddy Hield
and trading for Buddy Hield and kind of making it organic, but getting their guys in, making a little trade here and there. And they didn't do that, and look where they're at. So I don't want the Knicks to make that same type of maneuver.
We've done it.
That's the whole thing.
We did. That was 2012, 2013, bro. We had one magical season, and after that, it was all shit. So.
It starts with one guy. Starts with one guy. Well, first of all, we have to trade Randle. And just from a fit perspective, I think he'd fit perfectly in Dallas, besides it being his hometown. Like Luka and Randle, is perfect for me. Like that's a perfect fit. But it really starts with
honestly,
one guy.
Even if you put him out there in with the T-Wolves, that's a solid squad, bro.
Towns and Randle.
Towns, Randle, Anthony Edwards, D'Lo.
I think he would fudge that up a little bit. I don't like him there. Yeah, he needs like a open space. You know what I mean? There's too much going on. He would fit in New Orleans. like Valanciunas, Randle, and McCollum. Like that's nice.
Yeah.
But it starts off with one guy, man. His name is RJ Barrett, and we need to give him that extension, dude. He needs to be the leader of this team.
There's no question.
Yeah. Okay. As long as we're on the same, I know
no
he's
question.
not
There's
efficient
no question.
around the basket, but come on.
But dude, it's not even like, look, this is where it's funny when people talk about contracts. Like, well, what did he do last season? And it's like, and this is where, even when I talk
21.
about guys like Brunson,
He's 21.
Yeah, it's his age. He's 21, right? He'll be 22 next season, where he hasn't even hit it. He's not even close to hitting his prime. If you gave him a 5-year extension at 22, he's just barely getting to his prime, like barely. With a CBA that's about to jump, you could be getting him for cheap, relatively cheap, because it's not going to increase with the CBA. Also,
it's friendly on the cap.
Yeah, and what do you expect him to be in the future? Because that's the other thing you're paying for. I also talk about his leadership mentality and all that stuff that goes with it too, and that's why I'm like, guys, we haven't had a guy like this since Ewing. Like we and Ewing, like, well, obviously Ewing started off different, but
Charlie Ward,
I'm just
right?
saying.
Was that the last?
No, I'm not talking about the extension. I'm talking about like a player where you drafted high, where you have a lot of confidence in that you can build around or build with, and you can say, this is a franchise player. That's what I meant. The last player to be extended was Charlie Ward off his rookie contract, but
that's what I'm saying. I think we're good. I think we're the Heisman winner, Charlie Ward. Which, fun fact, really fun to play with on NBA 2K. You could play with the 99 Knicks. Charlie Ward's fire from 3. So that's fun. But, dude, I think RJ has to be that guy. I mean, freaking Michael Porter got one, dude. Imagine the draft. Like, I know the Knicks are so upset. I know I'm just kind of rambling now because the season's over. I know we're upset that we didn't draft Bridges, who killed it on Michigan State, who kills us every time he plays us, who makes it known that he hates us for drafting Knox over him. I know that's disappointing. But then, like, we get, crapped on for not drafting Michael Porter at the same time. And look what happened there.
I hate that one because
like yell at me for not drafting Mitchell. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's the one.
Because you can yell at me at that one.
Because he was in our crosshairs.
And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You can yell at me at those two.
Yeah.
I will not take Michael Porter Jr. At that time, we were not going to take a guy with back injuries who, wow, look at that back injury.
It worked out perfectly.
Yeah,
like, and he got the extension, bro. Like if I'm RJ, I'm just like, I wouldn't even say a word. I would close my mouth. I would show them. I would literally like point at Julius Randle. And like when they ask me about this year, just point like look what you guys did, and like look what I had to deal with, and look where we are.
The other thing is,
and then I would point out Michael Porter Jr. Like look at this other guy that got drafted with me. Look what he's doing, and look what he got paid. Like that's it. Just shut up and pay me. Let's move on.
Year before him. That was a Kevin Knox.
Year before him. Oh right. I'm just saying. So like it's just like these are the extensions, and just give it to me. And speaking of. I think the first person ever to not get the extension is going to be his buddy, Zion. I think Zion Wilson is going to be the first person ever to not sign the extension.
Probably. I think if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, you're like, I'm not doing this. You want to get out of here anyway. And you don't want, if you're the Pelicans, you're like, why would I make it 10 times harder trying to trade you? That doesn't make any sense. But here's the other thing with RJ. We haven't given RJ a team for him that is efficient for him. It has been cluttered. We haven't surrounded him with a lot of shooters, especially consistent shooters. So can we at least give that and other guys who are like, we have guys who are athletic and that can run with him with Quickley, Grimes, all that stuff, but we haven't put them around him yet enough until like the end of the season, right? Like I love when I get to see that young lineup with Quick, RJ, you get to have Mitch or Sims out there with Obi. Like that's fun, man. That is fun to see like those guys running.
Okay, is it fun? Out there. I know it's fun, but is it a playoff team?
No, that's probably not. No, it will probably not be a playoff team. I will be honest with you with that.
Yeah.
Here's the fine thing. If you're telling me this young team is capable of getting to this record that we have this season, I am very hopeful. Because that means someone's taking another leap next season. And if we can do that with young guys, that means they're also working hard and they're playing good players and they're in their role. So
that's fair.
And they can build on top of that. So I can work myself off of that. I can't work with myself with what I just saw this season and say, let's roll it all back with the new head coach. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, I think this team, I'm like, there's no way this team. Yes, there are games that we could have won by the margins. Where are we going after that? Where are we going after that? I mean, like, and I asked that question to everybody.
I agree.
That's the thing.
Okay, so you're saying RJ that we didn't give RJ the pieces. It's too cluttered. and everyone's screaming about Burks starting. So and the first game, right, that he finally got to play, like you got a triple double, right? So the question here, we posted it to our the Knicks Twitter for Knicks Jets, etc. So Alex, the Tratacaster, host of Knicks Fan TV, man, editor, is IQ the starting point guard for the New York Knicks?
Woo. I know everyone's feeling about that too. Man,
I honestly don't.
If I'm telling you right now, like this is not a good sample size. Like it hasn't made that much traction. As of right now, we have 86 votes, 75.6% say yes, 24.4% say no.
I feel like it's hard to be on Knicks Twitter right now. Like, besides the fact that the team stinks, it was toxic. The Knicks Twitter imploded on itself, just like the Knicks imploded on themselves. We all imploded, bro. Like, I don't blame anyone for taking a little break.
Oh man, I don't blame anybody. My thing with this team, and with Immanuel Quickley, and I think I-95 Bully, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you for listening and always commenting. I agree with him. I think it is contingent on how this offseason goes, and it's a cop-out. But if you're telling, I'd still go out and get someone like Jalen Brunson. I want an established point guard. You know what I mean? And I know that we're at the crosshairs between Immanuel Quickley wanting more playing time and stuff like that. And this is really the difficult part. This is so difficult because if he does want more playing time, and I do really like Quickley,
the triple double is tough to argue with. He played really well.
It's not. He played really, really well, and I think
it wasn't just it wasn't the Westbrook triple double. There was a real triple double.
No, that was a legit triple double. The way this is the one thing I'll say about Immanuel Quickley. Immanuel Quickley has been playing so fucking well this past month, bro. Like he's legit just been on another level. Like watching him play, which is why it's also difficult because, dude, let's get into this. Dude is averaging 15 and a half points, right? Off of 10 and a half field goal attempts. He's shooting 42.7% from the field, 37.7% 3-point off of 5 attempts. He's also hitting 84% of his free throws. That's averaging 5.4 attempts per game. So he's getting to the line. He's averaging 5 rebounds, close to 5 assists, only about 1 turnover per game, and close to a steal. Seeing that and him playing point guard, like him like being the leader of the second unit and playing point guard, gives me confidence to actually say this kid could be a point guard. Like the way he's been doing it, because he's directing traffic. He's slow. The game has slowed down for him because he was frantic at the beginning of the season. We kept saying, we don't see it. But since these last 15 games, that's the stat for the last 15 games I just read. I can actually say I can see this kid being a point guard. I legitimately could see that. And I would not be upset if he started next season as a point guard. I know I just said that I'd still want someone like Jalen Brunson in here. But the fact that I hear that he's getting upset with not getting enough minutes, and he's averaging 27 minutes for this stretch too. He's getting close to 30 minutes and doing this type of stuff. That's legitimate stuff. This is getting tough. This is getting tough, man. I'm actually selling myself for starting IQ next season.
I want you to pull back a little bit, and because if say I wasn't listening to what you were saying and I missed the fact you're talking about Jalen Brunson, it could easily be put in Red VanVleet.
Yeah.
Like FVV was the same exact issues, right? It was like, I don't know if he's going to be the starter. I don't know if we should pay him all this money. He wants more this. He wants more control. We don't know. And then like 30 games in, we're like, wow, we're idiots. We should have got Red VanVleet. You know what I mean? So is that the same case? Or are we going to say, oh, no, because, the argument was, VanVleet, he's okay, but he's not, Larry in his prime. He's not.
Yeah, he's not like a point. He's not a true point guard.
So now we're saying Jalen Brunson, he's not this. He's not that. Like,
but that I just read IQ stats, right? I just read IQ. Jalen Brunson's a point guard. He's today's point guard. Okay, to play on off ball, he doesn't have to be this traditional point guard where you bring it up all the time, like 99.9% of the time. Like we don't need that. That's so passe. for today's league. Like, you have to be able to be so flexible and play within an offense, playing off ball, cutting, setting screens, backdoor screens, all that type of stuff. And Jalen Brunson, I could see him doing that. The question is, can Quickley do all that? And by the way, he's been doing it, bro, these last 15 games, this last month. I wouldn't be upset if you started.
Is it fool's gold?
I don't think so. I don't think so, dude. I honestly do not think so.
So Orlando Magic.
Well,
the tanking Orlando Magic. Like, what happened versus the Pistons?
Okay, here's the thing. And here's the thing with the Orlando Magic. I agree. You got a triple-double against the Orlando Magic. I'm not impressed that he got a triple.
I know that we like him and he wears Tim's and a Knicks jersey and Greg Anthony's cool, his pops, but he stinks.
Here's the thing.
And so does his mom.
I'm not
Bamba, to be clear.
I guess here's the thing. Here's my thing. This is where I wish, and this is where I was on this pod saying, I wish we just started Immanuel Quickley as a point guard after the trade deadline to see who he was and to get a clearer idea of, should he be the guy running next season? Should he be? And with this type of stretch, it's hard to argue saying by getting close to 30 minutes a game that he shouldn't. Like, in all honesty, once you're starting to hit 30 minutes and you're doing these type of numbers, like just what I'm talking about for averages, you're kind of deserving of getting a starting role. You're kind of pushing up there saying he needs to get there. And honestly, I think the Knicks are going to be in the position where they have to, because it's going to be his third season. If you sign someone like Jalen Brunson at this point, for a 4-year contract, I just find it very difficult to manage, because Jalen Brunson's not coming here to play 20 minutes. He's coming here to play 30 plus minutes. You know what I mean?
So where's IQ go?
What do you mean? Does he get in a trade? Does all
that's what I'm saying. So if you're gonna sign Brunson and he's gonna complain about 30 minutes, and IQ is complaining if I'm Burks starting, and Burks is already there.
You don't have to.
And D Rose is coming back, and now we have McBride. Like, there's a cluster.
This is where I hope the Knicks pull back on a lot of veterans, man. I don't even think D Rose is going to be here. Honestly, I really don't.
No, he's not going anywhere. Listen to this, okay? Randle, talking about juxtaposition. Randle out with a quad. I know he was there the first couple of days, but now he's not with the team. All right. Grimes, he's a rookie. He has to be there, of course. D Rose has been.
He's chilling. He's chilling on the bench. Yeah.
Every day, pregame, playing with his son. He's wearing that red knitted kufi hat. He is like quadruple XL Balenciaga hoodies. Like, he's living his best life. He said it. He doesn't even watch basketball outside of playing with the Knicks and watching game film. He only is here for Tibbs. The Tibbs, D Rose, and Taj is staying, bro. That trio is staying, whether we like it or not.
Here's my question.
Those two and RJ, I would say, are the guaranteed spots on this roster next year. Like, there's no chance any of them are going anywhere.
Here's my thing. Yes, Sim shouldn't go anywhere. He's probably gonna get.
Everyone else is like trade bait. Season. He's really good. You know what I'm saying? I can see them moving.
I'm so concerned. I like Immanuel Quickley. I think he's a very good player. I think his confidence is in that same stratosphere as RJ Barrett, where he's dedicated to the game. He's going to work hard. He's always going to improve. And we've seen him improve. We've seen him. Shout out to Schwinn. He just tweeted that earlier this season, Quick was averaging 6 drives per game. Now with the last month or so, it's about 9 drives per game. So he's ticked it up, right? He's getting to the paint because he knows Tibbs likes a guard that gets into the paint of the defense. And that's what he's been doing. It's just hard, man, to watch a guy that you draft, especially a late first rounder, and you see him develop this way. And then
speaking like a true GM.
I know, right?
The All-American, the All-American
it's tough because
college game when they all played in there, our entire roster. Like, he's like a true GM.
When you watch Quickley play, and because he's a kid. He's hungry, bro. He wants to be a starter. I guarantee you he projects himself as a starter in this league. And he's going to work to become a starter in this league. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm okay with Immanuel Quickley starting next season as the point guard and seeing what he can do to evaluate him. Because here's the thing. If next season is the third season, we're going to have to make decisions on these guys anyway. And I think Quickley is going to play well. next season, just because if he can do this and turn it up, I think he's going to continue to play well. If he continues to increase his value, you have Obi Toppin, who continues to increase his value. Grimes, all these kids who are hungry. Like, that's the one thing I will say about this front office. They're drafting primo, better than what we've seen in years past. There's no kid that you could say on this team that's like a Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, who you're just questioning. You know all these kids want it. You know all these kids want to work hard, right?
Yep.
So I don't see.
Let me ask you this.
I don't see them stopping until they get somewhere. Now, not saying that because they want to work hard and all these other things that they're all going to be starters and great players in this league. If anything, you know, the average is being a role player and being if you could be a role player, you made it. So
the 2018 All-American team, these are the players that were in there: Cam Reddish, Quentin Grimes, Devon Dotson. I know we didn't get him, but that was a name that was rumored for us. Zion Williamson, Immanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. I mean, literally everyone was in there. You're speaking like a true GM. You know, we always say it, dude. They just look at the same, draft. They recruit the same scouting list, and they're like, oh, this guy's good. Like we drafted this whole class. We know everybody here. So I'm gonna ask you two questions, and we'll end this. But before we go into, I guess we can go into the schedule. But I don't even care anymore. I just want to beat Brooklyn because I hate them. But yeah, that's my recap on the schedule. Let me ask you this though. I mentioned Zion's name, so we'll go. Oh, that's my first question. I'm gonna say, are you giving Randle to the Pelicans for Zion and Randle and IQ type deal? But then it kind of ruins Obi, right? You got it's gonna stunt.
Honestly, I don't want Zion. I do not want Zion. I don't. I really don't. Look.
He's just Obi.
I get that he wants. Nah, I think he's more than that because of his size, his ability to play in the paint and be strong. He's more than that. And there's nothing against Obi. Like, Zion was legitimately an all-star last season. Obi is yet to be that. We don't know if Obi will. Maybe one day he can be. Okay. I don't want Zion because I think he's injury prone. Okay. First season, injury. Last season, injuries here and there. Played most of the season, though. This season, injured again. I know the whole thing is that he wants to be in New York. I know that
always injured, that you're destined for the Knicks.
Stop, please. I don't need.
That's just the way it is.
Don't need
Allen
that.
Houston,
I'd rather
Antonio McDyess, everybody, bro. Everybody we get is injured.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
I'm just saying. Franchise, T-Mac, Penny Hardaway, Amari Stoudemire. Everyone we get is injured, bro. That's just how it is. If you're injured, you come to the Knicks. That's how it's been my whole life.
Kemba Walker.
Everyone. D Rose.
Oh God.
Right, so you don't want Zion. Okay, that's fine.
Do you want Zion?
I don't want to pay for him. I don't want to pay for him with assets. I don't mind paying for him in money. No, see, I don't mind paying him for money because he's not going to get the extension.
Dude, here's the thing.
He's going to be the first player ever to not get that max extension, and he was the first pick, and he was the top player in high school. Like, maybe these things aren't going well in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Like, it's a discount. You're taking him on a discount, but I don't want to pay for him. Like, I'm not giving him IQ. I'm not giving up IQ. I'm going to be very reluctant to give up Grimes or Obi. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm going to be like, it's going to be tough on me to give up these guys. And obviously they're going to want them for a Randle, for Zion swap. You know what I'm trying to say? That kind of shifts my focus to Donovan Mitchell. Like, if I'm giving up IQ and stuff like that, it's really for a bona fide all-star, not with somebody with the questions like you're saying.
Yeah, my thing is that questions on the injury. I just don't know how long he'll last, man. I mean, we saw him get injured. People say it's a freak incident, and it was a freak incident in college. But then he gets here. First season couldn't play. This season he didn't play. Like, how? My thing is that he's on the same timeline as Cam and RJ. You know what I mean? Like, you have to pay those guys. Especially if you want Cam. We don't even know if Cam's going to be with the Knicks, but if you have all three of them, Like, you're not bringing Zion in here not to sign him. You know what I mean? If he's not going to get the extension in New Orleans, that means you're planning to sign him. RJ's going to get the extension. Question mark is to Cam. Is Cam going to get the extension? The books are going to be crazy, dude. You can't, and then you're going to have to sign. That's all the same year. Yeah. You have two other guys after that, in Obi Toppin and Immanuel Quickley the following season. And then you have Grimes, McBride. Oh, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Actually, McBride only signed a 3-year contract. So he would be due. What is it? He'd be due the same time with Quick and Obi. If you want to bring it back.
All right. So last question here. And it kind of relates to what you were saying with the assets. And Magic Johnson brought it up to bring it full circle.
Lonzo Ball would have helped the Knicks, damn it.
It's playoffs.
Here's the caveat. If Lonzo Ball could stay
games.
Healthy.
No. This is it. You get this.
If it's this Lonzo, then absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I would not help you though. We get the
so mad that my AirPods fell out. This Lonzo Ball, you're gonna pay this man and then do what? Chicago is who I thought they were. Okay, I don't give a damn how they played in the beginning of the season. Everyone's laughing at me. They stink. Alex Caruso is the whole damn team.
DeMar DeRozan has some words about.
I love DeMar DeRozan, the mid-range king, but they stink.
There's things that John will always love: a big man with the post game, the mid-range, and a guy who can play defense. That's why I love the Chicago Bulls.
That's why I love Tibbs, bro. That's why me and Tibbs on the same page. And I want a damn point guard.
Oh man, I was just listening to listening to Jimmy Butler on the Winging It podcast, which ended. It was through the ringer with Vince Carter, and I listened to the Jimmy Butler episode and how he said he loves Tibbs and whatnot, and he was talking about the time that he finally got. There's potentially a chance for him to get in the rotation after I think D Rose was hurt for a little bit, or he missed a couple of games. I forget. And they said, I just heard Taj at the 2 and I just started dying laughing. I was like, this guy, John, would love this. Taj at the 2.
I mean,
Tim putting Taj at the 2.
I mean, like it's just
I don't know what's more egregious.
Everyone's screaming.
I don't know
that or Obi at 5.
I don't know.
That or Obi at the 5 with Randle at the 4. That was the worst line I've ever seen in my whole life.
We're just asking for short stretches, bro. We're just asking for short.
That was the worst line I've ever seen in my whole life. If I was the other coach, I would literally call a timeout and run plays directly at those.
That's the worst. That's the worst lineup we saw this season.
That's the worst 4-5 we have.
Bro, we just saw Randle, Fournier, Burks, RJ, and IQ out there. Were you thrilled with that?
Oh yeah,
were you thrilled with
Fournier
that?
Fournier was the 4. That's a tough.
Yes. Were you thrilled with that? Were you? That was the worst lineup I saw.
Yeah, that's tough. Randle. At the 5
no. They had
tough.
Fournier at the 4.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's egregious.
Yeah,
that's egregious. All right, that's the worst lineup I saw. All right,
I agree. That's a bad.
That I can tolerate. I can tolerate small ball 5. I can tolerate that for short stretches. Absolutely, not an entire run. You want to go out there running and gunning? Sure.
Yeah, it's usually like a minute and 20 seconds, like 3 possessions.
Yeah, you get out
4
there.
possessions.
Yeah, if you can get 2-3 minutes out of that, that's fine. Like honestly, legitimately, that's where you get. That's what you get those for. So that's exactly what that's for.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be playing that for extended minutes of run. Like you do that. You do that when you're, huh?
Well, people wanted it because Noel was hurt.
Because
Taj is old.
Because just like you, well, and also just like you at the beginning of the season, you want Obi to get 20 minutes. So you need to have some overlap between him and Randle. That's the only way you're going to do that.
No, he's better at small forward. But that's my opinion.
We didn't see it.
That's how this episode. We should end it in this way because, I mean, this is exactly how
we didn't. In my opinion, it's just how the entire season goes. We didn't see it.
We just didn't see it coming. We just didn't see it coming, man. Like 4th seed, we knew we were gonna regress, but how did the playoffs regress? Like, fire the coach and the coach of the year and trade the most improved player of the year within 20 games and never let that go. I just did not see that coming. Like I thought we were gonna pull it together at some point. I think we did. I think we did pull it together since the All-Star break. We did learn how to close games within that 7-game losing streak.
Close games?
I'm just saying we were really good after the All-Star break, man. in my opinion. We were a really good back.
Month of February, we sucked, bro. We only won one game
after the
All-Star
break. After the All-Star break. Yeah, I know that was the 7 games we're in.
Oh,
there.
March. Yeah, March. Yeah, March.
We played well though. We played well. We just didn't
March
close the
okay.
games. And it just sucks. It just that's what I'm glad we didn't have injuries, so we don't blame it on that. But my biggest question going into the offseason, man,
is worse Nerlens Noel?
No. I mean, that's probably my 4th question. My number 1 question is what to do with Mitch. Did we learn our lesson from Randle last year? Some guy does well a couple games. Talking about injuries, injury prone. Do we ship him off? If we lose him for nothing, I'm going to have a fit. Like, that's my number 1 question. Number 2 is where is Randle going? Not if, but where. Not when, but where. And I'll give you number 3, where's Nerlens Noel, because that's going to solve. I'll bump it up to 3. And number 4 is where's that RJ extension? I think those are my 4 questions right now off the top of my head. Number 5, make it nice and even. Where's IQ fit in this whole equation? Do we trade? The only person I think I'm honestly, legitimately trading IQ for and signing off the paper is for Donovan Mitchell. Like, if we're talking Donovan Mitchell and whatever Mike Conley, because they hate his contract or whatever, for IQ, Randall, and a bunch of picks and Fournier to be friends with Gobert, you know what I'm trying to say? Something like that, I'll do it. But other than that, I really don't want IQ. Just leave him. Like, he's fine. Like, well, the problem is we don't know what to do with the 30-minute guard who's a 2-way. Just leave him. You know what I mean? That there's no rush to get rid of him unless it's for Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a 2-way guard. He's an upcoming 2-way guard that's playing 30 minutes, close to.
He's pissed off. Minutes. He's pissed off not getting as many minutes as he's getting. I like that. Like, that means he's trying to do more. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's a lot of people
that be satisfied, like, yo, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, that's the thing.
Out.
Yo, bro, that is the thing. There's a lot of NBA players who there's a reason why the average length of an NBA player is 4 years.
Yeah,
1 contract, 1.
Yeah. Hopefully, RJ is going to get that second contract, like we said, since Charlie Ward, the Heisman Florida State quarterback.
Honestly, if the Knicks don't pay RJ Barrett, this team deserves every bad thing possible.
Well, listen, man, we have a guest coming up soon, and he has a lot to say about that. So we're gonna get to the bottom of this RJ extension nonsense.
That's true. That is true. So, all right, man. I think this is a good place to end it. Good as always. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, Etc. podcast. You know what to do if you listen to this podcast. We're on all audio listening platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. If you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave a comment that helps oh so greatly, and we'll read it. Also, like I said, if you go over to the Daily Knicks or if you go over to the Jet Press, which is part of the Fansided Network, you can find our podcast there if you want to listen on the web browser. We are partnered with Fanside and Minute Media, as John likes to clarify me. All right. Well, also, we're on YouTube now.
Just don't want people to start looking for us on Fansided like they do for the Daily Knicks. You know, you're looking for us on Fansided. You're on the Jet Press. You're looking for us on Fansided. Like, Winning Picks Weekly is not there. We're just Minute Media. Just that's why I just wanted to clarify.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Also, we're on YouTube. Okay. Knicks, Jets, etc. period. Make sure to find the page, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way, you know when a new episode drops. And when you watch a video, hit the like button, leave a comment. We'll interact with you guys. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions, see how you can add to the conversation. We always love engaging with you guys. And also, thank you for just listening and subscribing and being part with us. We're at 160 subscribers on YouTube. We really appreciate you guys for helping us along the way. We're really appreciative of that. So thank you. Like, truly, thank you. And while you're over there, we also got another podcast, Winning Picks Weekly. John and video producer Greg, they go down the NFL slate, even though it's not, like, we know it's not NFL season. They go down NBA. They're doing baseball. They're doing college basketball.
NFL futures are here.
Futures. Oh my God. If you need some reason to bet, just listen to these guys. These guys will talk about it all day long. All right. So make sure to go to check out Winning Picks Weekly, but bet responsibly. Okay. And then last and certainly not least, we are on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. we are there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. We out.
Let's go Knicks and let's go Yankees, baby. Talk some Yankees soon.